Hey guys, Bix Weir, roadroad.com. Getting emails, texts, phone calls. It's happening, it's falling apart. Yes, but there'll be fixes. Don't worry. It won't fall apart overnight. It'll take at least more than a day. Fed does an emergency rate cut to zero practically, and Fed disaster. S&P futures crash. Halted limit down. Gold, treasuries soar. Gold did not soar. It was slammed down, obviously. The Fed may have had a very big problem on its hands after firing the biggest emergency shock and awe bazooka in Fed history, one which was meant to restore not just partial but full normalcy to assets and funding markets. ME futures are not only not higher, but tumbling by 5%, limit down at the start of trading. Dow futures are down 1,000, also limit down. VIX is surging, perhaps because the Fed has not only tipped its hand that something is very wrong by simply waiting an additional 3 days until March 18th FOMC, but that it can do nothing more to fix the underlying problem. While gold is surging over 3%, it's been slammed down, by the way. Following today's dollar devastation, if only until risk parity funds resume their wholesale liquidation at some point this evening. As U.S. Treasuries soar, which will also likely be puked shortly once macro funds are hit again on their basis trades. As it now appears that the Fed emergency rate cut to 0% coupled with a $700 billion QE is seen as not enough by a market which is now openly freaking out that the Fed is out of ammo and has not done enough. In short, with the ES plunging limit down, this has been an absolutely catastrophic response to the Fed's bazooka. Expect negative interest rates across the curve momentarily. The FX strategy, Varij Patel puts it, quote, the Fed has thrown a kitchen sink of policy measures that should, in theory, weaken the U.S. dollar. Problem is, global backdrop due to COVID-19 isn't conducive to putting money to work in other foreign currencies. Fed making U.S. risky assets relatively more attractive may support the U.S. dollar. It is game over. This is it. I've been saying it. Things to expect. I put them all in the timeline article at the private road on Road to Ruta. But yeah, the markets will shut down. The exchanges will shut down. I don't know what day. Very soon, though. I watched my timeline presentation again. I think I stretched it out too long, and I only stretched it out like 3 or 4 months. This is insane, I know, but it is what we're living with. The numbers are off the charts for the spread of the virus. Even Hawaii announced another 3 today. They're going to have to shut their borders. And that's easy to do. It's easy to quarantine Hawaii. Just say no more ships and no more planes. Voila. It's the perfect quarantine. You're out in the middle of the Pacific. Problem is, they get all their food from the mainland, other than pineapple and poi. Poi. And you got all those tourists who want to eat. And shipping lines, there was a rumor floating around that Matson shut down the shipping line. That did not happen, but they will at some point. Because they'll go bankrupt, because nobody's shipping anything. This is the end game, my friends. People ask me, well, what should I do? Should I have cash? Should I have silver? Should I have gold? Should I have guns and food and water? You need all of it. How long we'll be on lockdown? I can't see the U.S. going more than 2 weeks on lockdown with everybody saying, fuck this, I'm going to go out. I don't care if I spread it, because everybody's going to get it anyway. And that's why I'm adamant about hardening your body, because you're going to get it. Liposomal C, chaga mushroom, D3, usana. So when you get it, you can spit it all out of your lungs. Usina, usana, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, I know there's going to be a lot of people mad at the YouTube guys who said, oh, it's just a false flag. There's going to be a lot of anger towards those guys, so just be prepared for it, Mike. All right, this is what Powell said. This is a long list, but there's some hidden gems in here. I'll go through and make my comment. These are all the points from Fed Chair Powell's little discussion of why they dropped interest rates to zero. Fed's role is guided by our mandate, which is low unemployment and low inflation, right? Or maximum employment, low unemployment, maximum employment, low inflation. So he can do whatever he wants, truthfully. U.S. economy was on a solid footing before the virus struck. That's bullshit. U.S. economy was working because they had the manipulation under control. It was not a solid footing. Weakness abroad will weigh on U.S. exports. Nobody's importing and exporting anything anymore. Yes, it will weigh all right on it. Policymakers must do what we can to ease the hardship. Yeah, you're going to spray money. That's all you can do. Inflation will likely be held down this year by virus. No, it'll be held down by you rigging the market, the commodity prices, like it's always held down. Virus presents significant economic challenges. You don't think that's not rocket science there, Jerome? Everybody's on lockdown. There's nothing going to happen. And these banks, remember, the banks are levered and they have massive derivatives. Behind the scenes, can you imagine the floodgates that are opening? Quadrillions of dollars flying around every which way. They don't even know where to throw it. Virus means lower economic activity for a period. Try 10 years. Several financial markets have shown signs of stress. Banking, for example. Travel, obviously. Everything shows signs of stress. Now we're shutting down all the restaurants in California. All the bars and nightclubs. Next will be the restaurant. We encourage banks to turn to the discount window. Let us throw money at you. But it doesn't help them. Second quarter economy is probably going to be weak. That's a brilliant statement. Today's FOMC meeting in lieu of Tuesday's... today's FOMC meeting is in lieu of Tuesday and Wednesday's meeting. So that was like 3 days from now. You couldn't wait 3 days. Says FOMC won't hold its planned meeting this week. So there you go. They're just going to keep firing that money spigot. Forward guidance, asset purchases are our basic toolkit. That's those bank bailouts, basically. So yeah, I'm going to be busy updating my graph. I told you it's going to go spike parabolic come the end of the first quarter. Forward guidance, asset purchases, basic toolkit. Asset purchases are aimed at restoring market function. Remember, the assets are rehypothecated, multiple owners. That's why they use the FICC to hide that. Bond buying will foster more accommodative conditions. What we did today will be beneficial to financial markets. Well, apparently not, because the futures are down over 1,000. Second quarter economy is probably going to be weak. Gee whiz. Thanks there, Beeve. Hard to say how big effects will be, how long it will last. It's going to last 5 years. We will continue to closely monitor the developments. Of course you will. And deploy your only tool available, which is a money spigot. Keep cranking it. We don't have the tools to research individual small businesses. Don't see negative rates as appropriate U.S. policy. Fiscal policy is a way to direct more targeted relief. We do think fiscal response is critical. Fiscal response means pouring money over everything you see. Restoring market function supports economic activity. When they pour money, the number one thing they do and have to do when they do that is to rig the gold and silver prices lower. So watch for it. Restoring market function supports economic activity. Well, restoring market function on the manipulation side would support the fake economic activity that you've been running off for 100 years. Asset buys aimed at supporting credit availability. Fed not seeking permission to buy other securities. They're just doing it. They're not seeking permission because they're doing it behind the scenes. Asset buys aimed at supporting credit availability. Fed is going to buy securities at a strong rate. Basically, they're going to pay more for the securities than they're worth to support securities in the market. The Fed is supporting all securities, otherwise they'd be worth zero. They're going to go another trillion and then another trillion and then a quadrillion. That language is open-ended, sending signal to the market. Hey, market, they're going to buy whatever you sell them and they're going to pay you top dollar for that piece of shit paper. We're going in strong starting tomorrow across the curve. We'll be willing to be patient on rates. Bullshit. Watching to determine if economy has weathered the virus. Everything's going to shut down. There's no recession. There's no depression. It's going to be a shutdown of market. It's a normalcy bias. This is what they've always done. They've always been able to pour money over everything. You pour money over this shit, you're going to get nothing but money floating around on the ground because there's nothing on the shelves. This is a completely different thing than they've ever encountered. Anything on planet Earth. Globalization is reversing. And that sucks for us. China's fine. They got 1.4, well, they had 1.4 million people. They probably have, they had 1.4 billion. I would say they have less than a billion now. I think over 400 million have died. The numbers that came out of there are ridiculous. The numbers coming out of China. No, don't believe it. Don't believe any of it. All right, let's see. Powell says he feels fine, very well, no reason to be tested. Ooh, he's got it. Wow. We're all going to get it, so what? A lot of power in our liquidity tools, forward guidance. We have plenty of space to adjust our policy, meaning they can do anything they freaking want. And they don't give a shit who in Congress stands up and say, hey, how dare you do that? The rules are out the window. Decided Thursday to move the meeting up by 3 days. Making a forecast in current climate didn't seem useful. So they're not going to say when this is going to end because it's not. U.S. economy started from strong position. That's a lie. U.S. economy started from a position of manipulation. Second quarter will be weaker. Hard to say what will happen in second half. No Fed forecast this month. Sorry, guys. Next likely in June. Fiscal policy can reach directly to affected sectors. Not really. Broader fiscal stimulus will depend on path of economy. Hard to say what will happen, but maybe need for that. We'll watch treasury markets for return to normal. So that's what they're going to rig the treasury markets to say, hey, everything's fine, don't worry about it. It doesn't put anything on the shelves. I keep telling you. We'll use tools to support market function, credit flow. That means they'll spray money wherever. Raise your hand, the Fed will spray money at you. Economic data will follow the spread of the virus. Duration of the virus effects will hinge on measures taken. We have plenty of power left in our tools. Your only tool is a spigot. There is room for us to do what we need to do. Fiscal policy typically plays a major role in downturn. Banks are highly capitalized. System is resilient. That's bullshit. Nobody's highly capitalized. They wouldn't be begging for all this money. If banks are highly capitalized, why are you opening 1.5 trillion and now probably another trillion tomorrow and another trillion after that? This guy's not even a good liar. We're in ongoing contact with major central banks. They're all cranking out the money printing machines. And that means all of them are going to be coordinating the slam on gold and silver. Absolutely. There you have it. Silver and gold jumped and then bang, bang, bang. Remember, these are not gold and silver markets. You can't buy physical silver anymore. Go try. Go try. See how well you do picking up silver at $14.67. You're going to go down to your local coin shop. He's going to say, I need $19 for that. Buy it at 19 and keep buying it if you can find it. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. Anyway, that's what he said. And what's happening? It's a frenzy. The rich are making a run on the banks in the Hamptons. As the ultra-rich Snake Plissken out of the soon-to-be quarantined Manhattan, where at least one bank has already run out of $100 bills to fortify themselves against the viral zombie peasants horde in their impregnable castles in the Hamptons, one thing they're looking to hoard is cash, which has caused some substantial pressure on financial institutions in the area, according to Bloomberg. At least one New Yorker had his $30,000 cash withdrawal denied at a Chase bank after being told the limit was $10,000. Doesn't matter how much you have in there. You can only take $10,000 out, and we'll tell you when you can have your money back, if ever. Meanwhile, bank employees said they're waiting on a shipment of cash to fulfill other requests. How long can a bank withstand a bank run? Less than a week, let me tell you that. So expect the banks to be closing down this week. You're not ready yet? You should be ready. Should have been ready 20 years ago. Anyway, it's all happening. Very interesting stuff. Banks are so strong that they made a joint statement at a conference. The Financial Services Forum announced that its 8 members decided today to temporarily suspend share buybacks for the remaining period of the first quarter and the second quarter. just temporarily. Who are those banks? Bank of America, Bank of New York Mellon, Citibank, Goldman, JP Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, State Street, and Wells Fargo, all the big derivative banks. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Oh, but Jerome Powell said everybody's fine, except all of these banks are saying, oh my God, we got to stop everything we're doing. We have to stop the buybacks. We're going to have to cut the dividend to zero. And we're going to have to fire all our employees because this shit has gone sideways on us. And we have, oh, by the way, over a quadrillion dollars worth of derivatives that they play in. Is this the end game? Absolutely. How does it feel? It sucks if you're a silver holder. Actually, no, if you're a silver buyer, it sucks too because you can't buy any silver. Go get yourself some physical silver. If somebody says, yeah, I'll get you physical silver, it'll take just 2 weeks. They will never get that physical silver. The COMEX is going to shut down. JP Morgan is out of its derivative short position. They've gone long. I'll guarantee you that's going to be Ted Butler's next article. I'm sure of it. JP Morgan stole all the billion ounces worth of physical, and now they've gone long on the derivative market, on COMEX, the Crimex, #1 criminal enterprise on planet Earth. Up on RICO charges, but they still allow them to trade and rig markets. Why? Because they have to hold the system together to a point. And that end point is coming very fast. Very fast. Again, if you're a Road to Runa member, go to the member area and watch the timeline. Watch the sequence of events that I lay out. It's happening. It might be happening faster than I said, but it's happening just the way. So hang in there, hang tough, good luck. Keep abreast of the news, shall we say. Talk to you later.